Ever wondered what secrets are sealed behind those sun-drenched gates in the Hollywood Hills? Imagine strolling into a mansion where the living room carpet climbs the ceiling and a waterfall gurgles in the corner. Elvis called it décor. Down the road, a reclusive billionaire carved a private runway through his backyard so no one could watch him take off. And yes, he sealed entire rooms shut for good measure. And if you dare venture farther, you'll find a cotton candy palace with a heart-shaped pool filled with pink champagne, built by a starlet whose legend ended as flamboyantly as it began. Tonight, we're prying open 25 estates so outrageous Hollywood tried to bury their blueprints. Stick with me, because every door we unlock swings wider, and the stories only get stranger from here. Number 25, Mae West, the ghost in the ivory tower. Mae didn't need acreage, she needed a stage, and she built one in a single apartment. Inside the historic Ravenswood, she coated every inch in shimmering white. Plush carpets, mirrored walls, alabaster drapes. Centerpiece? A gigantic seashell-shaped bed, her tongue-in-cheek wink at Venus herself. After West left the building, residents whispered of perfume drifting through locked halls and a soft chuckle echoing from the elevator shaft. If Hollywood hoped her legend would fade, her playful spirit apparently didn't get the memo. If an all-white haunt gives you chills, just wait. Our next stop glows jungle green even at midnight. Number 24, Elvis Presley, the jungle room that roared. Graceland was already eccentric, but the jungle room dialed it to 11. Tiki bar chairs, a working waterfall, and deep pile green shag carpeting stapled to the ceiling as well as the floor. The king recorded his final tracks here, the water trickling beneath his vocals. After Elvis OD'd in 1977, rumors claimed the room growled with phantom jungle sounds at night. Maybe the acoustics, maybe grief reverberating off vinyl. If rolling waterfalls inside a living room feel outlandish, Liberace thought a piano-shaped pool was subtle decor. Number 23, Liberace, mirror, mirror everywhere. In Palm Springs, Liberace turned a low desert ranch into a gilded funhouse. Mirror-tiled walls reflecting chandeliers from every angle, swan neck faucets spouting pink water, and a patio pool cut to resemble a baby grand piano. Guests swore they lost their own reflections amid the glare. When the showman passed in 1987, new owners spent months ripping mirrored tiles off the ceiling, only to learn the sun had scorched perfect keyboard silhouettes into the concrete below. But if garish gold is one flavor of weird Rococo clutter on a Bel Air cliff, is quite another. Number 22, Zaha Gabor, Rococo Gone Wild. Fantasy met excess inside Zaha's Bel Air Palace, or Molu-crusted furniture, Versailles-style murals, and more gilt cherubs than the Sistine Chapel on payday. The house was so over-the-top, HBO used it as Liberace's residence in Behind the Candelabra. Gabor insisted Elvis once swapped a ring for a night on her velvet fainting couch, though the king never confirmed. Even locked in probate after her passing, the mansion kept up appearances. Neighbors swear they still glimpse floodlights flicking on, as if Gabor were about to glide down for one last entrance. Rococo opulence feels cramped next to lavender royalty. Elizabeth's next, and she scented the drywall itself. Number 21, Elizabeth Taylor, lavender and diamonds. Taylor renamed rooms by gemstone, sapphire salon, emerald nook, ruby dressing suite, but her Bel Air refuge revolved around lavender. Walls, drapes, even light bulbs tinted violet to flatter those famous eyes. Outside, a terrace bloomed with perfume roses she bred herself. Inside, a vault hid Oscar gowns and Cleopatra jewels, valued higher than the entire structure. After her death, auctioneers discovered lavender paint had soaked so deep the studs smelled like perfume. Our next mansion rises 4,000 feet above Palm Springs. Perfect altitude for a crooner who needed privacy to raise hell. Number 20, Frank Sinatra, Villa Maggio, the sky-high hideaway. Perched atop a granite ridge, Villa Maggio looked like a pine-scented retreat until you spotted the helipad and dual saunas wired for 24-hour parties. Sinatra designed separate guest cottages so pals and secret flings could vanish without paparazzi headlights trailing the winding cliff road. Legend says, Old Blue Eyes kept a switch under the bar that cut all external phone lines. If the gossip columns rang, then nobody heard it. Hidden buttons are clever. Hidden tunnels are downright cinematic. Douglas Fairbanks dug one for daring escapes. Number 19. Douglas Fairbanks, the swashbuckler's secret tunnel. At Fairbanks Ranch, an underground corridor snaked from the main house to a lakeside boathouse. Some said Doug used it to dodge reporters. Others whispered it was pure theatrics. He'd vanish mid-dinner, then burst from behind the orchestra on a gondola. When his marriage to Mary Pickford crumbled, guests reported the tunnel echoing with sword clangs. Lonely, late-night fence practice. Fairbanks escaped into darkness. Harold Lloyd built a wonderland you couldn't miss in daylight. Number 18. Harold Lloyd, Green Acres, Hollywood's private Disneyland. Fountains sprayed 9 stories high, a 9-hole golf course rolled across 15 acres, and exotic cats prowled a personal zoo. The daredevil of silent comedy topped it with a hidden vault, crammed floor to rafters with film reels. Insurance against a studio system that once erased lost classics. When costs ballooned, Lloyd sold off entire gardens, but Green Acres still stands. Historic landmark status, locking every fountain in place like a paused pratfall. If Lloyd collected animals, Gloria Swanson collected secrets in hollow walls. Number 17. Gloria Swanson, Casa del Sol's hidden room. Swanson's Spanish-Moorish mansion glimmered with hand-painted tiles, but insiders focused on a bookshelf that swung open to a velvet-lined chamber. Was it a reading nook? A clandestine lover's nest? Swanson only smiled. After talkies dethroned her, bills piled up faster than fan letters. When wrecking balls came, the secret room collapsed first. Studio guards swore a stack of unopened telegrams burst from the dust, sealed kisses still visible in the wax. Secret rooms are alluring. An entire estate built for free spirits was downright mythical. Number 16. Alla Nazimova, the Garden of Allah. Russian star Alla Nazimova reimagined her sunset mansion as a bohemian colony, villas circling a Black Sea-shaped pool, free-flowing champagne, zero judgment. Fitzgerald drafted The Last Tycoon beneath citrus trees, while Greta Garbo bathed at midnight. Whispers of anything, Go's soirees scandalized the press. The studios begged Nazimova to tone it down. She didn't. Financial collapse did it for her. Bulldozers replaced the garden with a strip mall. Some old-timers claimed the neon liquor sign flickers in Cyrillic on humid nights. When Paradise shuttered, America's sweetheart drifted into her own mansion of memories. Number 15. Mary Pickford, haunted Pickfair. Once dubbed the Western White House, Pickfair glittered with 42 rooms. Its ballroom so vast, a horseback rider could canter beneath the chandeliers. After Douglas Fairbanks left, Pickford retreated into the labyrinth, curtains drawn. Staff whispered she'd talk to portraits at dusk, crystal in hand. Years later, new owner Pia Zadora demolished the place, citing termites. Plus, an uneasy feeling of being watched from the grand stair. Whether termites or tormented diva, Pickfair's marble dust now sits under a cul-de-sac of McMansions. Pickfair's ghosts hushed up heartbreak. Valentino's estate amplified it. Number 14. Rudolph Valentino, Falcon Lair's fatal whisper. Valentino built Falcon Lair to feel like a Tuscan fortress. Arched loggias, terraced gardens, a sweeping marble stair. Months later, he was dead at 31. Fans laid roses at the gates. Later, owners claimed the aroma never left, even after the gardens died in drought. Housekeepers swore they heard riding boots pacing at dawn, though no stable remained. Demolition crews in 2006 reported jackhammers stalling for no mechanical reason, as if the walls themselves refused to fall. Falcon Lair sat on a hillside. Clark Gable chose wide, dusty valleys instead. Number 13. Clark Gable, the Quiet King's Encino Ranch. Gable's ranch shunned chandeliers for oak beams and horse sweat. He grilled steaks for 4, not 50. Dawn rides cooled his grief after Carole Lombard's fatal plane crash. Locals say the King of Hollywood would tip his hat at passing farmhands who barely recognized him in denim. Yet even here, rumor found him. Neighbors insisted they heard a woman laughing on the wind. the echo of Lombard urging him back to life. Gable kept loss private. James Dean's cottage displayed destiny in the garage. Number 12. James Dean, the cottage and the cursed Porsche. Dean's Sherman Oaks bungalow was smaller than his legend. 2 bedrooms, 1 battered sofa, and a garage housing Little Bastard, the silver Porsche 550 Spider he'd soon crash. Friends said the car looked hungry. Dean just smirked, revved the engine. After he offed himself on Highway 46, the cottage became a shrine. Landlords tried repainting. The outline of racing stripes bled through the stucco each spring like an oil-slick ghost. From one tragic icon to another, starlet who painted life and death, bubblegum pink. Number 11. Jane Mansfield, the Pink Palace. From neon-lit driveway to heart-shaped swimming pool spelling, "I love you, Janie," the Pink Palace screamed spectacle. Inside, floor-to-ceiling fuchsia velvet muffled every sound but laughter and clinking glasses as A-listers sipped from a fountain she filled with pink champagne. When Mansfield died in a grisly wreck, tabloids nicknamed the mansion Heartbreak Hotel. Over decades, owners gutted the pink, yet visitors swore the water filtering into the pool still caught sunset and glowed rose-red. Pink pools fade. Trout streams in Buster Keaton's yard once rippled with silent comedy gold. Number 10. Buster Keaton, the Trick House on Beverly Drive. Keaton's 20-room mansion was a living sight gag. Slide a bookshelf, and a full bar rotated into a screening room. Push a lawn lever, and water gushed down marble steps in perfect sync with a Roman fountain's cymbal crash. A trout stream wound past an aviary into a hidden grotto where Keaton practiced pratfalls in privacy. When Talkies shelved his career, the bank seized the property. Demolition crews paused repeatedly. Every time a wall fell, a new alcove popped open like one final punchline. Architectural jokes are fun, but Marian Davies built a palace the size of a punchline. Number 9. Marian Davies, billion-dollar beach party. Hurst's money constructed a 100-room Santa Monica estate with 55 baths and an Olympic-length pool rimmed in marble. Winston Churchill lounged under striped cabanas. Charlie Chaplin surfed after midnight. Yet the mansion also caged Davies. Hurst's influence loomed in every gilded sconce. When his finances crumbled, the house was chopped up. Today, only the guest wing and pool survive as a public beach house. Tourists swim, unaware they're paddling through the ghost of a media empire. Enormity impresses, but size means nothing next to total freedom. Hedi Lamar found that behind a locked laboratory door. Number 8. Hedi Lamar, Hollywood's secret Wi-Fi workshop. Lamar's sleek glass hillside home dazzled visitors with minimalist chic. But hidden behind a sliding bookcase waited a compact inventor's lab. There, the actress and composer George Antheil sketched the frequency-hopping blueprint that underpins Bluetooth and Jeep. Studio bosses dismissed her as just a pretty face. She quietly patented the tech in her dining room. Years later, defense contractors mined her filing cabinets for inspiration. Proof that Hollywood's shiniest surfaces can hide the sharpest minds. Innovation hides behind elegance. John Barrymore hid grandeur behind gothic gloom. Number 7. John Barrymore, Bella Vista Theater of Shadows. Barrymore's Beverly Hills mansion featured vaulted ceilings and candelabras so tall they brushed the beams. A private stage let him rehearse Hamlet at 3 a.m. Meanwhile, rare first editions slumbered in secret cubbies. He walked pet monkeys along the gallery and staged parrot-led introductions for lucky guests. When debts mounted, he sold the books, then the chandeliers, then the walls themselves. Bella Vista toppled like a tragic third-act set piece, its footprint now a hedge maze of condos. Bella Vista's fall was public. Dolores Del Rio's house slipped into legend quietly. Number 6. Dolores Del Rio, modernism meets Mexican soul. Richard Neutra's glass and steel lines sliced sunlight into perfect rectangles across Del Rio's cherished Oaxacan sculpture and Talavera pottery. Hollywood's ornate mansions looked overwrought beside this serene refuge. Diego Rivera and Frida Kahlo painted on the patio, praising the house's honest angles. When Del Rio returned to Mexico in the 40s, new owners plastered over Nutra's lines. Preservationists still scrape away drywall, hoping to resurrect the pure geometry beneath. If minimalism can vanish beneath plaster, Errol Flynn's secrets dissolved into hillside dust. Number 5. Errol Flynn, Mulholland Farms two-way mirrors. Perched like a pirate galleon over the valley, Flynn's estate was wired for mischief. Two-way mirrors peering into guest suites, a peephole above the bar, and a shooting range rumored to double as evidence disposal. Friends arrived to discover Flynn missing, only for him to burst through a hidden panel brandishing champagne. As his scandals grew, so did the damage. By the time bulldozers came, the hillside looked as though cannon fire had struck. Flynn built amusements. Liberace built a looking-glass world, yet Charlie Chaplin built comfort in miniature. Number 4. Charlie Chaplin, The Little Tramp's Tunnel. Chaplin's cottage kept 1920s decor untouched. Worn rugs, brass lamps, a teapot always whistling. The magic lay underground, a narrow tunnel sloping to a wine cellar where he could slip unseen during the Red Scare. Some nights, Chaplin would emerge dusty but beaming, violin in hand, to serenade guests on the lawn, as if the world's troubles were a gag that needed rewriting. Today, the cottage is private property, but neighbors swear they hear faint strings on foggy nights. Even Chaplin's violin can't drown the roar that still echoes from Howard Hughes's Runway. Number 3. Howard Hughes, Fortress of the Maddening Genius. Hughes bought his Beverly Hills estate as a hideaway and turned it into a concrete labyrinth. Temperature-controlled vaults for blueprints, soundproof chambers for experimental engines, and getaway passages twisting beneath manicured lawns. At sunset, he'd taxi a plane down the private strip, lift off, circle once, then vanish. As germ phobias worsened, rules multiplied. Staff sanitized doorknobs every hour, placed sandwiches by doorsteps, and withdrew without eye contact. After Hughes died, demolition crews discovered entire rooms bricked shut, furniture perfectly preserved, as if he'd walk back in any minute. But even empires of concrete can't erase the strangest tragedy in our list. Number 2. John Harlo, The House That Wept. In Benedict Canyon, a Tudor cottage wore ivy like morning crepe. Months after Harlo wed producer Paul Byrne, he was found upstairs with a gunshot wound. Studio execs called it a self-inflicted accident. Gossip whispered murder. Harlo herself died of sudden kidney failure at 26, and grief clung to the house. Decades later, Sharon Tate stayed overnight with hairdresser Jay Sebring. She awoke, seeing a blood-soaked apparition tied to the banister, a year before her own fatal encounter with the Manson cult. Realtors still market the home, but buyers rarely sleep through the first week. If walls could talk, they'd scream. But one final estate proves walls can also listen. Number 1. Hurst Castle, Xanadu on the Mountain. High above the Pacific, William Randolph Hurst sculpted a 165-room cathedral of power. Imported Spanish ceilings, BC-era marble, and a Neptune pool glittering in 24-karat tiles. Zebras and giraffes roamed his private zoo. Guests, Chaplin, Gable, Davies, signed strict moral contracts. Lights out at 2, no mixing of unmarried company. If Hurst disapproved, then the guest list lost your room key by morning. The Great Depression battered his empire, but he refused to abandon San Simeon. Instead, art vanished, piece by piece. Today, tourists marvel at what's left, reminders that no dynasty, however fortified, escapes gravity forever. Gilded chapels, ghost-lit hallways, secret labs, pink champagne pools. These mansions prove that fame doesn't just buy luxury. It buys the freedom to turn private dreams into architectural fever dreams. Yet the price tag often came in tragedy, isolation, or rumor that refused to die. So which hideaway chilled you most? The cursed falcon lair, the whispering jungle room, or Hughes's concrete maze? Drop your pick and any mansion we missed in the comments. If you crave more hidden Hollywood, hit like, tap subscribe, and ring the bell. Because next week, we're cracking open vaults that make these halls look tame. Until then, keep your lights on and your passageways unlocked.